Assalamu alaikum, Hazoor. Hazoor, in Islam, the element of interest is forbidden. Majority of the people residing in Great Britain have a mortgage on their houses.
Yes.
So I would like you to elaborate on this.
On this subject, I have spoken lengthily many times before, and only recently during my visit to Switzerland in Geneva in a very well attended question answer session. In fact, it was a reception given for me. This question was raised of the modern monetary system and its comparison with Islamic system. So you can have access to that. Even video is available, and I hope that would satisfy you. Why Islam does not permit the system of usury and interest, and what alternative system Islam offers. That is one question, one part of the question. In the light of this, you will understand the second part of the question, particularly regarding mortgages. You know, this system of mortgage, hire purchase and all that is in fact a sort of mafia, financial mafia, which is gradually destroying the peace of economy as such, and concomitant upon the peace of mind of the people who get involved in the system. What you are doing in fact is you are borrowing from your future and spending on your present, and in this way you do not realize that how much extra you are paying to these financial companies, who in the name of giving you a sort of opportunity to possess what you cannot really possess today, by charging you heavily and bleeding you heavily later on. And this is not all. When this system is controlled by governments, various factors appear in the world which compel them to change the interest rates from time to time, and that also has effect on your mortgages and everything. So the property for which you are committed to pay sometimes 3 times as much as it values today, on the hope that it would appreciate in the value faster than at the rate of interest at which you have to pay, with the result that ultimately when you have paid everything, the value of that property would still be higher than the total value you have paid. This is the assumption on which you are working, or everybody else is working. So they say, all right, why not? We don't have anything to lose. But this is not so. In longer terms, in real estate business crises appear from time to time. And sometimes you get yourself committed to paying 3 times the real price of a house if you had the ability to buy it by cash. This is exactly what it will amount to. For instance, a house you can buy for 70,000 today in cash. If you buy it through mortgage system, in the long run you will have to pay sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times as much to get the possession. In the meantime, suppose the crisis has occurred, what would happen to you? You would be committed to go on paying through your nose, while the house would continue to lose its value instead of gaining. And sometimes it's no longer marketable. Even if you try to sell it and get rid of this nonsense, you simply cannot. Nowadays, particularly, many Ahmadis come and ask me to pray because they want to get rid of their houses frantically. They're under strong financial pressures, and there is no buyer in the market. And every day the houses of the properties are losing their value. Now this is not accidental. This is what I want to explain, which partially I have explained elsewhere as well. This is a natural mathematical consequence of a financial system. And this is true of every financial, area of financial transactions, in industry, everywhere else too. What is happening in such a society, I'll try to make this matter more understandable. I know it's a very complicated matter, so it will take me a bit longer time to make you understand all this. Let's try to understand through some other illustrations in industry, for instance. Let's say the industry of England is producing bicycles at a certain rate and in a certain quantity. The larger the production, the lower would be the cost of production. Now, to become competitive in international market and also to become competitive in internal market, they are bound to produce more and sell more. I mean, this is as simple as that. Now, the buying power of the country at that time is not necessarily compatible with this need of the industry. So the answer is, they reach you through a circuitous ways in so many roundabout manners. They say, all right, you can only pay 10% of the total value of the bicycle we have to offer you. So all right, pay 10%. The rest we'll borrow from some other financial houses, but you will have to pay the interest through your noses. So what they demand, they require to stay on the surface. You support them, you pay them to achieve their objective. Now this can go on for a while, but not permanently. After a few years, they have exhausted their markets or nearly exhausted their markets. The result is that the whole community is bound in the chains of debts and multiple debts. Because it's not only bicycle they have to go to buy, they also like to have a better television, a new model of television, a new model of this and that. So apart from the genuine needs, new models appear, which can only be sold by artificially exciting your fancy and creating artificial tastes in you, implanting demands in you. So as a whole, you should look at the whole question, not just the mortgage question. The result is that the entire economy is bound to head for an ultimate crisis. And the signs of these crises generally appear in the real estate as the four symptoms of this crisis. If you study the history of the First World War and the history of the Second World War, just prior to those wars, you will find such financial crises which were faced by Europe. An industrial boost about 10 years prior to that. Then the fall in the prices of real estate and things, or some distorted phenomenon taking place, somewhere artificial boosting of these prices, sometimes falling like a ton of bricks. So things happen which make things completely out of control of an ordinary citizen. So he becomes just a sufferer, a victim of a system. Like 2 years ago, the share prices went down, like a load of bricks, as I said, and hundreds of thousands of British people had to pay through their nose what the system already had forced them to do. So previously they were paying them to support the system. Then they became the target of the system, and the suffering was transferred from the companies to them. Because ultimately companies mean here in this case the shareholders, the common people and all these. So this is a very complicated affair which I call as a racketeering, financial racketeering. And these things always lead to war. So that is why in my other discussions I have pointed out that in the Holy Quran, when the Holy Quran says, abstain from this system or be ready to fight with God, this is the meaning of that verse. Otherwise nobody can fight with God. What is the meaning? Fighting in fact actually begins to take place. It is fighting with nature. You can't defeat nature. You are bound to suffer from the natural consequences. So apparently, individually speaking, you can't satisfy anybody. Why not? You can get a mortgage and you can own a house. Why not? Go ahead and do it. It looks so attractive. But when you understand the intricacies of the system, then you begin to understand the intricacies of each part of the system as well. Right?
Thank you very much, Hazur.